All right, we are going to go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Hip Hopera for Haiti, a collaborative fundraising event to help raise funds for Cazale, Haiti. My name is Carlos Bossard, and I'm the executive director of the Haitian American Museum of Chicago, also known as HAMOC. Tonight, we are also joined by the museum's founder and president, Mrs. Elsie Hector Hernandez. It is great to see you all. Thank you so much for joining us. HAMOC's mission is to promote Haitian art, culture, and history in metropolitan Chicago and surrounding communities, nationally and internationally, through advocacy, education, and supportive services. Community is at the core of our mission, and we are glad to continue to uplift and support the Haitian community here in Chicago and in Haiti. Before we begin, I would like to do some housekeeping and let you all know the format of tonight's event. First, this program is being recorded, and if you don't wish to be seen, feel free to go ahead and turn off your video cameras now. Also, all of you will automatically put on mute as you enter the room. Please remain on mute throughout the program so we can make sure everyone can hear all the great things that are about to go on. And then lastly, auto-generated captioning is about to be turned on for accessibility. Tonight, you will hear from our program collaborators, artist KF Jacques, and view the museum's collaborative documentary, Cazale, a Haitian-Polish connection. If you're able and willing to help us financially tonight, you can donate by using the donation link, which will be in the chat, or by texting Cazale, which is Cazale, to 41444 on your mobile phone. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce two of the organizers for tonight's event, Daniel Pogoszelski and Ivan Gonzalez.
Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you, everybody, for taking the time to join us here tonight. We've been working really hard on this event for the last month, and we're incredibly proud of the program we've put together today. I've been working really good, really long hours with my good friend Daniel. Daniel and I have been friends for a number of years. In fact, one of the
over a decade.
Dan came to me, how long? Over a decade.
Over a decade.
Yeah, when Dan came in with the idea of this fundraiser some time ago, first of all, I felt honored that he chose me to do this alongside with him, and more importantly than anything, it was a cause, right? When he started explaining to me the history of the town of Cazale in Haiti, I was mesmerized by the story of it, which we'll be able to. I'll focus on that later on during the program, during the presentation of the film. But more importantly than that, you know, there's a lot of need out there right now to ensure that these children in the town of Cazale are able to get access to adequate school books, something that they've been lacking. So that's the actual reason for the fundraiser tonight. We're here gathered to raise funds for school books for the children of Cazale, which some of you may or may not know, Cazale is a town with a large Polish Haitian community. Now, when I've been telling friends and family about this for the last couple of weeks and explaining to them the history of Cazale, they're completely like blown away, just such as I was the first time I heard of the story and the history of the town. One of the things that a lot of you may remember is that back in 2008, there was a devastating set of hurricanes that just completely obliterated a ton of areas around Haiti, particularly the village of Cazale. But Cazale itself, the Polish ancestry dates back actually all the way back to the early 1800s when Napoleon recruited Poles from Europe to help stop uprisings that were occurring in Haiti, promising the Polish soldiers that they would later help Poland gain its independence. Right? So there's obviously a huge outreach right now or there has been since the hurricanes back in 2008 from members of the global community to come together to help out Haiti. Being of Mexican ancestry myself, and having one of my good friends, Dan Pogoszelski, who is of Polish descent, we've over the years have formed what we have belovedly named the Polish-Mexican Friendship Society, where we try to make sure that we go above and beyond to help all members of our community throughout all cultures, and not only that, but just also cultural appreciation, right?
That's exactly it.
Exactly. It's all about cultural appreciation. There's so much that we can learn from one another while at the same time helping each other. But what I want to touch on a little bit before we get to the next part of our program is obviously being a proud Mexican American myself with dual citizenship in Mexico. I want to just touch a little bit on what the Mexican government did actually for the nation of Haiti after the devastating hurricanes in 2008. Haiti was the Mexican government was able to bring humanitarian efforts to the nation of Haiti. But before that, let me just mention here, Haiti was the first Latin American nation to gain independence in 1804 from France. This result inspires several nations in the region in their struggle for independence. In 1816, Mexican General Martin Javier Mina Larea traveled to Haiti to gain support for Mexicans' independence from Spain. I did not know this until I started researching. So there is a really fascinating historical context as far as relations between the nation of Mexico and Haiti. In January 2016, after Haiti experienced a 7.0 earthquake, like several countries, Mexico responded by providing food and other essential emergency aid. Soon following the earthquake, over 1,300 Mexican medical workers arrived in Haiti, along with 15,000 tons of humanitarian aid and over 51,000 tents to provide temporary shelter. Mexican soldiers also partook in the search and rescue efforts. And since 2010, the Mexican government has given over $8 million in financial assistance to the Haitian government and its people. As part of an effort to increase humanitarian assistance and help with the recuperation of Haiti, the Mexican government has provided government scholarships to over 300 Haitian students to study at Mexican universities every single year. These students also received a $625 monthly stipend during the course of their studies in Mexico, and while the entire studies continued. The first 103 students arrived in 2003 and followed by 93 students in 2004, and the rest arrived in 2015, moving on forward. And there are actually some still there studying today and still receiving those stipends. So, I just want to touch a little bit about that. Like I said, as a proud Mexican, I want to make sure that we inspire more people across all nations and cultures to realize, look, we all live on this same planet. Okay, and when one of us hurts, all of us hurts, and we want to make sure that we do everything that we can within our power to help out our fellow human beings. But one thing I want to do right now is talk a little bit about the relevance and the historical context of Cazale. Dan, is there anything that you want to add right now as far as the Haitian Polish community in Haiti?
So maybe I'll start with Ivan. What a wonderful thing to share with all of us with regards.
Oh, thank you.
To these wonderful global connections, and also about our friendship. Very kindly appreciate it. Obviously, you're such a close friend. For those that aren't aware, when I celebrate my birthday every year, for the good number of years now, it's actually the same celebration with Ivan, because of the fact there's only 5 days that separate our birthdays. So we make sure with the Polish Mexican Friendship Society, na zdrowie, salud, and in any other language, kindly welcome, because here in Chicago, you can travel the world in 80 blocks. And so you have wonderful relationships with neighbors, be they Mexican, from Haiti, or from many other nooks from around the globe. With regards to the Polish and Haitian connection, this connection goes back to centuries. And I guess where it really begins is in the love of freedom, the pursuit of their own freedom. If you'll remember, Haiti in 1804 was the first Latin American country, as Ivan had said, to bravely fight and succeed in gaining its independence. That love of liberty, that's an example for people all over the globe. And with regards to the relationship between Poland and Haiti, it actually begins with Napoleon. An interesting fun fact for those that aren't aware, Napoleon is actually mentioned in the Polish national anthem. And that goes back to that when there was no Poland, Napoleon had promised Poles to fight to restore the country which had been dismembered between Prussia, Austria-Hungary, and the Russian Empire. And so at that time, what you had happen was that Napoleon had said, Poles, we will help you to restore your independence. Now that's up to historians who some say Napoleon was genuine and some say Napoleon was only leading the Poles on. In any event, many Poles came to Napoleon's cause and fought for him. And so what you had happen is that Napoleon had actually sent Polish soldiers to Haiti saying that he asked them to, in his words, quell the rebellion. Now what happened is that as time went on, the Poles, many of them actually switched sides, seeing the kinship between the Haitian struggle for their own freedom and the Poles. For those Poles that stayed there, they created communities, and my understanding is that the term is La Pologne. And you can see this in many different interesting ways where in Haiti today, there is a Polish legacy. Now, originally we were going to have an in-person event, and one of the things that we learned thanks to Carlos and to Elsie was the existence of what is called Haitian Russian salad. Now, let's remember, a large number of areas in Poland were called Ruthenia or Rush, which sounds like Russia. And so it wouldn't be surprising because this potato salad, it sounds oh so Polish. It has beets in it in addition to to potatoes. And so this is just one of those accents that you have that's very popular in Haitian culture. You also have when people will actually do their hair, that folks will, in braids, they'll call it in a Polish style. Or when they go out and they try to go out on the town just full of energy and vigor, they'll say they're charging like a Pole. And so, although in a certain sense, these Polish communities, which are in Haiti, that are the descendants of these Polish soldiers who became part of the Haitian environment, in a certain sense, they are divorced from certain parts of their culture, the language, many other attributes. But at the same time, the attitude of the love of freedom and the appreciation for Poland and Polish culture is something that brings us together. I always was really touched by one of Jacques Dessalines' quotes about the Poles, who called the Poles the white Negroes of Europe, seeing in them where they had a shared experience of having been wronged by many of the peoples in power at that time, but at the same time, always keeping their nobility and love of freedom.
Sorry there, I stayed muted there. No, that's fantastic historical context there, Daniel. Great job there. We want to move forward with our program right now, and we want to make a little, show a little introduction video from one of the artists that's going to share a little bit of, it's going to share a small video of a performance of his. We have KF Jacques, who is a Haitian hip-hop opera performer, who is actually also married to a Polish woman. He's a good friend of ours. And Dan, can you please play KF Jacques' intro video?
I would be happy to. And one moment, and here we shall go. All right. And
this Cazale event, it's very important to me because, hello, this is KF Jacques. I just want to talk to you about this Cazale event. It's very important to me because my dad was born and raised in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. And my wife is from Poland. So I never knew this story about the Polish soldiers who came with Napoleon and ended up staying and assimilating with the Haitian culture. So it's very important that you all donate and send money and definitely prayers for Haiti. They're going through a rough time right now. and all of your support is greatly appreciated. That's why I decided to donate my services and this music piece. I hope that we can do it live sometime soon. Enjoy the rest of the presentation. KF
Fantastic. Now we're going to show a quick little video of one of KF Shock's performances. This gentleman is incredibly talented. Dan, if you could play the Shut It Down video right now. Thank you.
My pleasure. One moment there.
Shock in the mix again. Still trying to earn your clicks again. Bills on high, I'm pissed again. Left my wallet in Michigan. Smoking chick, carcinogen. Own that white like Uncle Ben. Don't know shop, better phone a friend. Been like shop, like where you been? Keep telling them. Working this one. Keep selling them. They don't see my weight is up. Don't sleep. Think fast, cause my bullets you sweet. Talk fast, but my mouth you speak fast. We gon' shut it down. 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 Shut
All right, that was a fantastic performance from a incredibly proud Haitian American artist here with a incredibly unique sound. Who would have thought? I've never experienced hip opera. I believe he also got some exposure. He said, what show did he appear on at one point, Dan?
Oh, Donald.
Yeah, that's Curly, and a million thanks to KF Shocks for doing the intro video there and allowing us to show one of his performance videos. He, like I said, incredibly proud Haitian American artist. With that said, I want to move the program forward to the feature portion of this. We're incredibly proud to not only be showing this short film during our program here, but we are also incredibly honored to have the actual director of the film, Mr. Paul Grainert. I believe, did I pronounce that correctly, sir? Grainert, yeah. And we're actually would love to have Paul say a couple words if you like, as far as reference to the film. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for welcoming. We also have the producer, Elsie Hernandez, here, and the film was produced with her help and with the full support of the board of directors of the Haitian American Museum of Chicago, HAMOC. So thanks to them, I was able to go to Cazale with Elsie and a couple other people, and we interviewed folks there and shot some footage. And really, our goal was to allow the people of Cazale to share their story, whatever they wanted to share with the outside world. Just so you know, my connection to my video keeps going in and out. Hopefully, Daniel, you have the video
Yes.
keyed up. Okay, perfect. One thing that I think the video and the people of Cazale speak for themselves in terms of what they want to share with the world. We'd like to continue working on this project, making it a bigger film with more pieces to it that could show more of the history. One piece that I wanted to share with you that I found through my research is the Haitian-Polish connection goes back to the American Revolution when there were people from this is the pre-existence of Haiti. So these people were French-speaking folks from the island of Hispaniola, which is now, of course, split in half between Haiti and the Dominican Republic. And they fought on the side of the American Revolution alongside of Pulaski at Savannah. So we know that. And then there's this fascinating story of Jean Lapierre. And Jean Lapierre was met Thaddeus Kosciuszko in the United States during the Revolution, and then became Kosciuszko's aide-de-camp during the Polish uprisings. So, and there are famous paintings of Jean Lapierre when after Kosciuszko was captured by the Russians. They wanted a bounty for his return, for his freedom, and it's Jean Lapierre that delivers the bounty to Catherine the Great. And there's a painting of him kneeling in front of her with the box of gold, handing it to her. He returns then to the Polish lands and apparently spent the rest of his life connected with the Radziwiłł family somewhere in Poland and passed away there. But it's what's interesting is that then the soldiers that then participated in the legions or the French when Napoleon was raising his army, these legionnaires, these legions, they were ex-soldiers from this uprising in Poland. They were leaving. They couldn't stay because they would have been sent to Siberia by Catherine the Great, and so they all left and ended up in France, which is where that fighting force came from. But what's interesting is that they would have then been exposed to a Haitian person or a French speaker from the island of Hispaniola before they had ever reached the Haitian island. So these connections between these revolutionaries, these people fighting for the greater good of the world, universal human rights, and democracy, these ties have predated this event where the legionnaires are sent to Haiti. The story of the Poles in Haiti is, of course, it's not linear. It's not like everybody switched sides. It's convoluted. Many times there were many switches. So people were switching sides all the time during the Haitian Revolution, which was a very long revolution. It had many parts to it, and it's at the tail end of that revolution where a contingent of Poles does switch sides. Dessalines recognizes them or recruits them. We don't really know exactly how it happened, but it certainly did happen. And then a good portion of those people who switched sides then did stay in a number of communities, one of which is Cazale, Haiti. And you're about to see a little short about that community.
No, that's all fascinating, especially the part where you mentioned that there were individuals switching sides during the war. It kind of reminds me of Chicago baseball fans.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It all depended on which way the wind was blowing and who was winning and who was losing and where people thought they could get better goodies from. You know, all of these revolutionary movements included many people with many motivations, not always pure. Of course they weren't. They were human beings, and a lot of their motivations were self-serving. One thing, a number of the folks that switched sides were peasants, so they were not the officer corps. They were the lower level people that had been recruited, and so to them, this was a step up in the world, because if they had returned to Poland, they would have returned to this peasant lifestyle. Here, they could actually own their own land and had some status. And so that certainly may have played a role in their choice to join the Haitian Revolution.
Yeah, at that point, with that much poverty involved, there's personal incentives for every individual.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
So with that, I don't mean to cut you off, but we are all excited about watching the film itself. And do you mind if we go ahead and proceed with the short of the film?
Well, let's do it.
All right, Daniel, if you would please do us the honor of premiering this wonderful film. I actually had a chance to view it, and I can't wait to view it again right now.
Is there audio problem?
Yeah, Dan, we're not hearing the audio on there.
Thank you. Here. How about now?
Now we are.
Excellent.
Cazale te yon bon ti kote. Te yon kote ki atire an pil moun ki la dan. Lò rive Cazale, ou te senti ou te espire yon lot lè. Cazale te entourage ou vin vive la dan, paske lè sa, te gen pil pied bois ki te kouvre nan tout tèt man yo, et te gen l'eau, mais, comme étant donné, chaque monde qui vive besoin d'un côté pour rester. Donc, ou pas qu'avec ton savoir Port-au-Prince. Donc, même les localités côtoient vivre là, pas offrir ou pas grand chose, mais c'est là où bien, c'est là où il hérité. D'accord?
Ah oui, pour moi-même, donc, c'est Cazale moi fait, bien que M. Kirchner vient de parler des années 67, je ne pas trop fait, je ne pas trop connaître, mais pour rapporter ça que Cazale là. Effectivement, Cazale, c'était mon rouge net qui était là. Donc, mon blanc, ouais, monsieur à blanc, qui était habité Cazale. Mais chaque monde qui sont d'un côté, de toujours même mon rouge, de venir là pour mon agent doit avoir moyen pour un fille Cazale et puis le déplacer avec elle. Ainsi de suite, ça fait, c'est ça qu'on va voir, qu'on a presque pas un monde rouge, ça a presque enlevé. Mais en réalité, Cazale, son côté qui est très agréable, côté monde qui a habité. Dans les temps, on est capable de constater ça là, regarder, sauf qu'il y a une sorte de déboisement qui fait dans la localité. Cause la vie va tomber, cause mon n'a pas gagné travail, c'est pied bois de couper, de pour faire charbon, ça fait. Après c'est différent là qui vient pied bois, mais zone tête monio de déboiser. Mais en réalité, Cazale sont bon petit côté jusqu'à présent pour mon vivre. Moi, c'est là ma ville et moi-même. Et je pense que je toujours été Cazale moi-même. Je vais expliquer que mon rouge ça qui était Cazale, c'est bon, même si on va à l'école, et si on va gagner, ils n'ont pas fait archive, vraiment, pour ta connaître mais qui j'en sais, mais ils rapportent nous sont sorte de descendants de Polonais dans le temps esclavage, après l'indépendance, les gens étaient dans le pays, et puis ils ont chassé blanc, mais eux-mêmes, ils ont cherché un côté pour être capable d'habiter.
L'armée expéditionnaire Napoléon, qui était une bataille contre l'armée indigène du pays d'Haïti. À l'époque, l'île d'Haïti, on voulait parler de Saint-Domingue plus, alors, République dominicaine plus Haïti. Jean-Jacques Dessalines, papa national, a accepté que nous qui était en position pour nous, est capable de jouir de tel nous, de côté où il est, nous capable de vivre paisible. C'est comme ça l'histoire après nous, fait nous comprendre que Polonais qui débarqué Cazale, à l'époque de l'indépendance du pays d'Haïti, l'État pour nous joindre des objets.
Audio's gone again.
Hey, Dan, you need to unmute yourself over there. We can't hear the audio.
présence polonaise ou bien présence allemande dans Cazale. Parce que pas des bâtiments qui étaient capables d'écrire que ça, c'était un Polonais qui était fait ou bien qui était habité là. Mais dans la recherche, nous sommes capables de rencontrer avec des vestiges de traces de maisonnettes qui ont rapport avec des constructions qui étaient dans la même époque là, avec Polonais, avec Pologne, qui est capable de dire qu'effectivement, il y a un rapport existé entre Cazale et Pologne. Ou le monde Cazale, comment il s'est petit authentique. Comme Cazale, nous connaissons comme des familles polonaises.
Cazale, c'est une crise politique. C'est une crise politique qui est mariée avec une situation naturelle. Là, il y a une situation naturelle. Ça me le dit pas. Les de l'eau pour nous déjà de nous parce que nous n'avons pas d'irrigation. C'est principal de l'eau qui commençait l'événement 69 là. Monsieur chef cabaret te dit nous pas gain droit user dans de l'eau plus que passer 3 jours. Autrement sous moyen de l'eau, il y a arrêté, il y a descendu cabaret, il y a battu, il y a mis tout dans prison. Deuxième problème non, c'est un problème marché. Moun yo pas gagné un prix fixe pour papier bête yo. Les regards sont pile dans mon il faut payer plus comme. Les on 10 ans éclairé, il faut payer moins comme. Ah, et toi l'idée dans zone là dit non, situation pas qu'à évoluer comme ça. Nous pas qu'à passer la caille nous pas gain irrigation, c'est nous gonfler de l'eau nous pour nous faire barricade pour nous arroser pour moun sorti bien pour venir dire nous pas gain droit arroser. Ah, monsieur, mettez tête ensemble. Vous cherchez des informations dans le main. Vous apprenez comment vous manœuvrer quelques outils pour défendre tête. Mais c'est comme ça, c'est un groupe Cazale qui est sorti pour information et puis vous êtes capable de faire revendication au passé. Comme dit l'allié sont à tout faire, on va tout faire. Dans toute bagaille, dans toute organisation, dans toute association, eh bien, toujours un grain mauvais là-dedans. Il y a un mauvais qui est dans mes temps association, qui t'a défendu Cazale, à dénoncer Cazale, il a dit bon, groupe nègre Cazale, qui parlait du valier, eh bien, qui décide, mais ça a décidé de faire. Et c'est comme ça, le président décidé entrer Cazale le jour qui était le 29 mars là. Next ça a détruit 23 familles. 23 familles.
Au contraire, ça a été dit comme ça, nous-mêmes, même Boïsia, nous sommes gouvernement noyé. Nous sommes gouvernement dans le pays d'Haïti. Et ça fait ça que ça, parce que nous ne pas haïtiens, c'est polonais noyé. Et comme ça, c'était polonais noyé, que nous pas c'est pour nous tout prêts, pour ne pas faire coup d'État. Moi-même, nous prenons parce qu'il y a des cailles, maisons à l'étage. Il y a un bas derrière, puis il a fait tout femme. Tout femme, son poteau, il a planté la débattu. Et puis, il dit moi ça. Il m'a dans le poteau. Et puis, tout a devant face, nèg la défense mitran la défense face pour troisième pour la demain. Et puis je me fais prière, me dit bon Dieu me connaît péché, même qu'on fait crime. Seul bagage trois places, faut plus fort pour moi. Bah personne qui me fait mal, il parle sans tomber en question de actuellement s'il vous plaît. Et là ça, bon sergent parlait qui dit comme ça. Messieurs, ça pique grave, messieurs. Donc ça, je vais tuer monsieur, il a bien problème. Il a bien problème à monsieur. Nous, ça, il a boulé, carrément. Il a boulé, carrément, papa. Il a boulé, il a fils, on petit frère qui vient derrière même. Il n'a pas quitté rien pour moi. Il a quitté comme ça, madame, moi, puis il a quitté même tellement grand pour manger, il est indisposé. L'homme de ça, événement passé, il a tué, il a tué, il n'a pas fait une photo. Ouais, photo? Ouais, non. Ouais, non.
Monsieur Pierre, Maxalio, Josia, Cazale, je suis Telegram, polonais. Est-ce que dans ton comme ça, moi, j'ai un loi qui a fait notre chemin. Si vous connaissez, non, il m'a fait. Est-ce que dans ton comme ça, est-ce que ma pierre, comme ça, j'ai un loi, l'habitation. Si vous connaissez, non, il m'a fait. Est-ce que dans ton c'est un esprit qui manifesté dans la tête de tout le monde. Et puis c'est un manifesté qui fait avion, pour lui-même, qui manifeste dans tout le monde. Même bateau, ni tout bagage, c'est un esprit qui est dans la tête de nous, il peut mettre, même artiste qui a chanté, c'est un gilles qui peut mettre la chanter. C'est les mêmes qui ont montré le corps. Et gilles c'est les mêmes qui ont montré le corps qui a chanté dans la tête. N'importe malheur qui est arrivé au monde, il faut recommander un gilles en un pas arrivé. Cela veut dire toujours, à Bindou, mais c'est comme il faut là. Mais c'est comme il faut là. Il n'y a pas la voix. C'est une protection liée pour nous. Et puis, un gilles docteur. Est-ce que je vais une bonne explication des gilles docteur? Un gilles docteur, il fait garçon, mais garçon, il fait femme, mais femme. Parce que son esprit, les Raymond, il va répondre à rien, il vit à n'importe quoi. Là, c'est la vérité, c'est même côté à tout, pas jamais critiquer personne. Parce que son esprit lié. Ok. Et son esprit tout, qu'il faut lever mon trop, on parle même. Il faut rendre sang tout, il faut piquer. Ça est bateau à dans ton. Vous entendez ça est bateau à dans ton, même où je suis allé. Ça est bateau pas, bois ça, au pape, je me facile. Ça a gagné 25 ans. Le bateau, 25 ans. Le bateau pâle. Vous voulez ça, Guinée. La vieille noire, vite balai avec moi, la gueule, travaille au côté, à la pape touché. À le mauvais âge, maman me défait moi. Moi travaille au côté, à la pape touché, Zili, moi aller. Vite balai avec moi, la gueule, moi aller. Grâce mon Dieu, grâce à Saint, grâce à moi. Explication de Zili docteur. Mais, quand vous la vieille noire, Apollo, et c'est un gilles dans ton Dieu. Son esprit lié. Son esprit de force lié. Son guinéen lié. Il n'est pas là pour le faire mal, il est là pour le faire bien. Mais ces gens où recommandent là tout, ou recommandent vous le faire mal, il va le faire mal. Ou vous le faire bien, c'est bien, il va le faire. Un gilles dans ton, le mat travail. Le mat travail non mystique. C'est un gilles dans ton, mais vous voyez, performe ça. Pour le jeune monsieur. Mais vous voyez, un gilles dans ton, prend monsieur, à une comme ça. Voilà. c'est son esprit, les garçons, les femmes. Président, les garçons, les femmes. Si vous connaissez l'anonymat, mais c'est pas. Aujourd'hui, je saute pour toi, monsieur. Dis, monsieur, moi, dis, monsieur Paul, moi, j'ai gagné 11.
Yeah.
J'ai 11 petites. Je suis arrivé à la Pologne. Mais là, il faut que je travaille.
Ok.
Pour m'occuper de 11 petits monde. Parce que je c'est là, je travaille. C'est mon métier qui a fait remettre pour moi.
Ok.
Vous comprenez? Et nous-mêmes, c'est la vie, nos besoins. C'est la vie, nous cherchons. Nous avons la vie. Nous faisons en bas. Nous faisons en bas pour nous bouillir. Nous faisons monde. Nous faisons un monde tout bagaille. Si nous rêvons à Pologne, comment on travaille, nous faisons? Nous ne pouvons pas arriver sans pas travailler. Pour m'occuper de 11 petits monde. Nous disons ça.
Cazale perdu Shelbel depuis après cyclone Ike en 2008. Si nous disons nous perdu Shelbel, ça veut dire nous sommes Shelbel avant. Cyclone dévasté l'économie, nous, l'agriculture, nous, infrastructure électrique, routier, janté, nous quittons New York que ça. Depuis après Léa, Cazale là, il perdu quelques dents.
Dans Cazale, on a deux poteaux sur la route là. Ça veut dire auparavant, il y a une électricité dans la zone pour tout le monde utilisé. Mais quand on a pas d'électricité dans la zone, ça veut dire tout le monde a choisi de mettre un panneau là, une batterie, un inverteur pour gagner une lumière pour tout le monde étudier, pour faire l'autre activité qu'ils ont besoin.
Sauf vous-même peut-être, et nous parlons comme ça après, venez pour même bagage. Caressez-nous pour faire nous dormir. Parlez avec nous tant que j'en fais. Cherchez information qui est utile nous pour nous régler les affaires par nous. Relax, bon tempérament, belle appréciation. Mais toute approche, toute offre, nous-mêmes Cazale qui parlent qui à l'école, nous avons parlé de offre, nous parlons offre économique, de l'argent, qui tête. Toute offre qui t'a joué, qui fait pour montrer nous que relation ça va changer de relation à accord. Rien pas jamais marche. On a parlé dans nos Cazale. Il a toujours souhaité que, par la suite, il y ait un bagage qui réalisé dans nos Cazale qui est capable de montrer effectivement, après 1804, il y a une relation haïtiano-polonaise par soldats polonais avec Jean-Jacques Dessalines, d'ailleurs, nous avons recevoir étrangers, nous sommes blancs. Nous avons recevoir polonais, nous sommes cousins.
Oh, un polonais? Oui, oui. Oh, ça va. Bravo. Oh.
Bienvenue à Cazale. Bienvenue. Oh.
Et en 83,
Yeah, wow, that was that's again, that's my second time watching it. Incredibly powerful and moving.
There's a little bit more. There's a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, moi c'est André Marcelis. André Paul Marcelis. J'habite Sophie, je suis éducateur, je pense l'école, c'est Timon déjà. Je fais agriculture, nous fait tout. Nous c'est un service de bon Dieu. Et nous espérons, bon Dieu, prendre soin nous. Pour protéger la vie spirituelle, pour nous toujours de santé, pour nous puissions continuer à faire bon travail. Et bon Dieu bénisse nous tous.
And that's the end.
Incredible, yeah. It's amazing how art can move you so much. But that was an incredibly powerful film. Paul, I mean, I heard you elaborate earlier that there are efforts to expand the film somewhat. Did I hear that correctly?
Certainly would like to do that. Yeah, and that's there's of course budgetary constraint on and that's really the thing. I would like to reiterate that to all of us here right now is a special time in Haiti. The Haitian people are going through another traumatic turn in their political social history. And it's really a time for Poles, all of us believers in universal human rights, democracy, to really step up and support the people of Haiti in their struggle, their continued struggle for real democracy and real. There's many historical things. We often say that Haiti is, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, but nobody wants to talk about why that's the case, and that includes multiple interventions by the United States, French antipathy, and post-colonial policies that really degraded the Haitian Republic for decade upon decade upon decade, lasting hundreds of years. And so when we look at Haiti today and their struggle, this is a wonderful opportunity for people of good faith to reconnect, the last speaker said, if you want to be a cousin, let's not talk about history. Let's talk about today, right now. What can you do to cement this relationship and make it real for us right now? And this fundraiser is an opportunity to do that. And I urge all of us to spread the word and raise some money for the people of Cazale.
Excellent, Paul. We can't thank you enough. Daniel, I'd like to give you the opportunity to mention our little surprise that we have here in our liner notes. You want to go ahead?
Yes. So do we have? So which surprise are we going to bring up first? Are we talking about the donations right now, sir?
Yeah.
So I guess I'll start off. So my dad was kind enough to literally make out a check for $100 for the Haitian American Museum so they can get textbooks for the children of Cazale.
Yep, and my parents also would like to make a $100 donation. In fact, I have their debit card here, which I'm about to do it right now. As soon as we complete our portion of the program, I mean, it's a gesture that we want to make sure that. Oh, but by the way, I found out earlier today that Elsie's husband is Mexican.
Yes.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised to hear that. It's another footnote that just shows us how we're all interconnected as society and as humans on this planet. Dan, should I just go ahead and go into our acknowledgement section here? Dan's a little frozen there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start our the last portion of our program here as we're wrapping up this full hour here, and I want to make some acknowledgments for people that helped put this wonderful program together. We first off, we have the Northwest Arts Connection, Enrique Morales, Wendy Jo Harmston, Camera Lynn Park, and Ron Duplek. We also have our wonderful friends over at the Polish Arts Club of Chicago, Geraldine Bulak-Coleman, and our good friend Ted. I can never pronounce Ted's last name. Ted Makarjiks. I horribly butchering that. We also have Alexander Daniel from Amopod. We have Anna Habal of the Red Apple. Anna's a fantastic person. You guys should really consider go have a wonderful meal at the Red Apple restaurant. They've been around forever. My family and I used to go dine at the Red Apple in Avondale on Milwaukee Avenue. Growing up, I used to love eating the Polish food there. We have Carrie Lauren. Kari Lauren, I can never pronounce his first name, also known as our good friend KF Jacques, who we saw his wonderful performance video earlier. We have our wonderful director, Paul Grainer, who was the director of the film that we were able to enjoy tonight on the town of Cazale. We have our good friend Brian Natick from the Natick Press, who helped promote tonight's event. Joe Ward and Ariel Pareja from Block Club Chicago, who also helped promote tonight's event. We also have our good friend Bogdan and Elanta Slowik from the Polish American Chamber of Commerce. I think Bogdan is also part of watching the Zoom right now with us. We have artist Nia Easley that we also want to thank. We also have Jacob Barwinski of Polish Vision and Polish Radio. Polvision, sorry, and Polish Radio. We also have our wonderful friends, Miss Elsie Hernandez, the unstoppable Elsie Hernandez, and Carlos Bossard from the Haitian American Museum. These are people that really helped put this event together. We can't thank them enough for everything. They've not been able to do tonight's event without them. With that, I want to pass it over to Carlos, who wants to go ahead and wrap up. He's going to go ahead and wrap up the final portion of our program tonight.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ivan. And thank you really everyone for being here tonight with us. I do want to especially thank everyone who was able and willing to donate to our cause. Some donations came in throughout the program, so I'm really happy to announce that. And with that fantastic surprise from Ivan and Daniel, we have raised over $500 tonight for the children of Cazale. So I wanted to share that with you all. And then remember, if you can donate, you can use the provided link in the chat or text Cazale to 41444 on your mobile device now. On behalf of all of our hosts, Daniel, Ivan, Director Paul, KF Jacques, all of our community organization partners, and then of course the Haitian American Museum of Chicago. Thank you all so much for being with us tonight and really making an impact on the lives of our friends and community members in Cazale, Haiti. Have a wonderful weekend, and we hope to see you soon at another event. Good night, everyone.